we have to understand very well that the Pope is the head of two different entities. One is a very little territorial state, that is Vatican City state, very little sovereign state, independent from Italy and from every other land in the world. And the Pope is at the same time the head, spiritual head, religious head of a large religious community, that is the Catholic Church, a Christian church, that is the Catholic Church. And this community is spread in the entire world. And the Pope is the head of this community. And the Pope, with his collaborator for the government of this universal community, is called the Holy See. And this is recognized also at international level. This is a religious moral entity with a long history, very important also in the international relations, but it is not a territorial state. As a great authority, and many lands in the world desire to have diplomatic relations with this Holy See, that is with the Pope as head of the Universal Catholic Church. You have also, as Georgia, an ambassador to the Holy See that represent your state in relation with the head and the government of the Universal Catholic Church. The state, Vatican State, is a little place, independent, where the Pope is totally sovereign and then independent from every other political authorities, and then he can be very free and independent in doing his universal service as head of the Catholic Church. Then the Vatican Holy See has relation with many states in the world, but not as a political entity with economical, military power. This is not the reason to have this relation, but as a great religious, moral authority, head of a billion of faithful, that can then help very much also in the international relations to promote peace, justice, friendly relation between the states, and so on. And then the presence and the participation of the Pope and the Holy See in the international life is desired as a great help to find ways, in particular for peace, justice, rights of the people, and culture, human development, and so on. And the Catholic Church, with the Pope and the Holy See, is very engaged in helping this relation and this progress of the mankind in the good values. The Pope is in charge of guiding the Universal Catholic Church in pastoral problems, and then the problems of the family in the world of today are very important for everyone, also for the Catholic Church, because our faithful have marriage, have the responsibilities in the education of the children, and so on. And there is a very large and profound engagement of the Church to help the people to find the better way to build families that is fundamental for not only for the Church but for entire society. And as everyone knows, in the world of today, family has many problems. There are many changes, divorce and separation, the young people that does not have the courage to marry because they are uncertain about the future, and so on. There are very many problems for building and for helping the families to go on in the love, in the unity. And then the Pope feels that this is a very important challenge for the Catholic Church to help the family from his point of view, with the religious encouragement, with the pastoral directives, and to help the people to find the profound sense of the marriage and so on. And then he has used an instrument that there is in the Catholic Church, that is the synod, that is a process of searching together the good solution for important problems. In the Catholic Church, the assembly of the synod is done by the bishops normally, or representative of the bishop of the entire world. But the bishop represent communities, obviously, and then they have to listen to the problem of their faithful, the families at the grassroots, and so on. And then the Pope has encouraged the entire church to be on the way to build an important process to study, to reflect, and to pray together about the problems of the family in the world of today. How to announce from the point of view of the gospel what a good family is, and what for the joy of everyone. And then this long process has different steps. There was a inquiry with questions sent to the parishes, to the communities, and so on, to reflect about the problems of the family. Then all the answers to this question came together to a secretariat in Rome that prepared working papers for the assembly of the bishop, representative of the bishop of every part of the world. And then we had a first assembly of 2 weeks with many bishops. There were more or less 200 persons taking part in this assembly to discuss on the basis of the information that were collected. But this is not the end of the process, because Pope Francis says this is a very profound problem, and then we have to pray, to reflect, and to study for a long time. Then we have done a first assembly, and then in 1 year we will have a second assembly with more bishops, with a larger representative of the bishop of the world, to continue to discuss these problems on the basis of what has already been said in this first assembly, but continuing to reflect also with the participation of the communities in the church. And then we will have a second assembly, second synod in 1 year, in October of next year, and we hope that we will have a large consensus of the bishops and of the community of the church how to announce in a positive way, in an encouraging way, the message of the gospel for the families in the world of today, for the well-being of everyone, not only the faithful, but for everyone.
But you know,
the synod process is a long way in which you have many voices coming from the faithful, and then from the priests, then from the bishops of different parts of the world that have very different experience. In Africa, the problems are not the same than in Europe or in Latin America or in China. And then therefore, the Pope has said we need a long process, 2 years practically, because the preparation of the first assembly was already several months, and then we have now another year, because we have to discuss, to dialogue about the issues and find a consensus. In the sense, no, there was fully support in the sense that there was a very large participation, an active participation, and the Pope has said very explicitly also again at the beginning of this assembly, you have to say really what do you think. You don't have to fear that I have a different mind. You have to say, because this is the reason why we are here, exactly to bring together our research, our perspective, our insight of the gospel of Jesus about the problem of the family. And then the Pope has no fear of differences of thoughts. Again, at the contrary, he desires that everyone brings his contribution. Obviously, in the church, we are looking for consensus of understanding together the value of the gospel, of the religion, for the good values also of the life of the people. And then we have to try to come together and to find common perspectives. But every process of research, of reflection about problems that are very challenging, like the problems of the families in the world of today, that are absolutely not easy, then it is normal that there are different point of view, perspective, approaches, and this was also in the preparation and during the synod, and will be also in the next year. And then we hope that there will be a more general consensus or approach, so that the community of the church can feel to be united about the great challenges of the family in the world of today. This is the fact, but there was absolutely no opposition to the Pope. No, this is the normal process with a variety of point of view that come together with the clear intention to find a solution together.
You will tell
Yeah.
us about
No, I understand what you have in mind. Then you have to understand well. The Pope has said and says always, the doctrine, fundamental teaching of the church, the gospel, and the way in which also the tradition of the church sees the teaching of the church is the same. But the situation in which we live are very changing, are very different. And then we have to come near to the people, to understand them well, so that our proposal, the proposal of Jesus Christ, come really to the life of the people. If we don't be near and don't understand what your problems are, then I can say good words, but I don't help you in your concrete situation. What is very important of the approach and the way in which Pope Francis has been able to let the people understand is he has let the people understand that he is near, that he is very interested to the concrete situation in which they are, even if they are not ideal, even if there are mistakes and difficult situations. We have to come near and to try to do a way together to help to find the good way for all, for your good, for the good of everyone. The approach, this pastoral approach, we say pastoral, that is like a shepherd that come near to the people, is very, very positive. And in this sense, Pope Francis is maybe more able to let the people understand this approach, not only reaffirm what the gospel says and what the churches say, but to be more engaged in translating this in concrete helps and words that can be understood and of help for the concrete people of today in the situation in which they are, not in another ideal world, but in the situation in which they are. This is, I think, what you have to understand.
Thank you, sir.
Pope Francis has particular gifts in approaching the people and in demonstrating that he is near to the people, that he is really interested in the situation and the problem of the people. He does not fear to come very near to you, to embrace the people that are sick, the little children and so on, to demonstrate the love of God in a very concrete way. I think this is also for me the main result of this new pontificate, that many people have understood that the Church loves them, that the Pope loves them. This is not as a master, a center of power, as something that teaches from far away and so on. No, is the love of God that tries to be near and to come to you, to help you concretely with the words that are really inspiring for what you are looking for. This is, in this sense, he has a particular gift, and I think that so many people are happy to come to the audiences or to the celebration in Rome, to see him, to touch him, if it is possible, is because they have understood more or less clearly. It is not a big reasoning, but they feel that the Pope is a presence of a loving God for them, and this I think is really an important gift. Even if he does not speak many languages, but he speaks Spanish and Italian. Also, I can read also many other languages. But he is not the polyglot like John Paul II or also like Benedict. But the communication is more intense, because the communication is not only to speak a particular language, but a complex of attitudes of coming to you. You can understand my attitude even if you don't understand my words in Italian. And I think this is a real gift that he has received from God, and that he gives us and to the Church. And many people that are also not faithful, not believers, or not members of the Catholic Church, feel that this love is without frontiers, without limits. It is for all. And that this is really a good manifestation of the love of God that is for all.
Believers and
no,
are,
it is difficult to give numbers. Traditionally, we think with the statistics of the entire world that there are more or less 1 billion or more Catholics in the world.